What's up, amigos? It's your local realized man checking in, and in today's video I want to discuss how you can remove your approach anxiety. Stop being so shit scared of approaching girls and just be able to pull the trigger and kill it, right? And I decided to make this video because 80% of my viewers are males, and as a male you're going to struggle with this at some point in your life. You're going to have to eventually get out of your man cave. You're going to have to stop investing in your Bitcoin, stop playing your RuneScape, stop playing your World of Warcraft, go outside the house for a bit and go find yourself a girl, right, to talk to. And yeah, so approach anxiety, for all you guys that don't know what approach anxiety is, it's that fear you get right before you go talk to a girl, right? You see a girl down the street, you're like, God damn, she looks cute, and you want to talk to her, you want to get to know her, you want to do all these things, but something inside you is stopping you from going. You make a little attempt, you start walking in that general direction, and then your amygdala is like, stop, motherfucker! No, we're not doing that, not today, no. And you turn the other way around and think about what could have happened. It's natural, it's understandable. It's a primal fear, right? Primordial fear. Because if you think about it, if you go back a few thousand years to hunter-gatherer times, right? When everyone was walking around in those loincloths and, you know, running around in the those cars with the no wheels and the legs, and you go back to those days, right? If you were to approach a girl and you were to get rejected, and the tribe was to find out, which they would, because there was probably going to be like 50 people in the tribe, that would be incredibly embarrassing for you, terribly, in terms of status and all that stuff. It could perhaps get you exiled, kicked out for being a weirdo, right? And could lead to death. So that fear is still in you. It's in your DNA, that the consequences in your mind, in your DNA, are so high. It's like life or death, right? But times have changed, right? There's so many people in the city. You approach this one girl, you approach her, and it doesn't go too well. It's not life or death, right? You can go on the next day and everything's all good, unless she has an Instagram and posts on Instagram and it gets around that way. So the fear is justified. But the way you overcome it, right, is through this exposure therapy approach, right? So exposure therapy is basically like a psychological or psychology way of getting rid of fears. Now, my girlfriend, she is terrified of getting needles, right? And the way she started to get over this fear was with exposure therapy, right? So she had needles in the house and she like look at them and hold them and just become more acclimated with them, look at the mechanisms behind them, and just desensitize yourself to the fear, right? Slowly but gradually get there. So you have to do the same thing with girls. When you are afraid to approach a girl, it's literally a fear of rejection, right? It's a fear of the consequences of it going wrong. So you need to become used to talking to girls and understand that the stakes are not as high as you made them. And the way you do them is approaching. And of course, you're going to say, motherfucker, I'm watching this video because I can't approach. Why are you telling me to approach? Well, ease up. We're going to start at the smallest level, right? We're going to start at the most basic level. Do something that's completely safe, that doesn't offend your ego. You're going to go up to these girls, you're going to ask something. Well, this is what I used to do when I started doing this when I was single. I'll go up and ask what the time is, right? It's something that a lot of people do. It's very basic, it's safe, and no one's going to question you on it. Actually, people might question you on it now because, you know, everyone should have a phone, and you can ask something like that, right? And then you do that with 20 more girls. Just go up and ask what the time is. And what that's going to do is going to expose you to approaching girls and talk to them and asking this real basic question. You're going to understand that it's okay to go up to people and ask them these questions because the repercussions are not so high. Cool. Then we increase the exposure a little bit, right? Instead of asking what the time is, you're going to ask what the time is and how the day's been going, right? So you're slowly kind of easing into a conversation here. And then you're going to do this with another 20 girls or so until you get used to it. You're going to realize that it's okay to approach people and to begin a conversation with them, right? Beautiful. Then we'll increase the stakes up a little bit, right? Just slowly increasing. You'll ask what the time is. You're going to ask how their day is going. Then you might give them a compliment. You might say, hey, I like your earrings. They really bring out your eyes, or something really cliche like that, right? Perfect. Now we're getting used to compliment people. You get the drift, right? You're going to get to a point, you're going to get to a breaking point where you're going to say to yourself, well, I'm sick of all this bullshit. I'm sick of asking these stupid questions. I want to be direct. I just want to tell this girl how I feel. I just want to tell her that she's cute and that I want to take her on a date. You can get to that point eventually once you remove that initial fear through the exposure therapy. And once you get to that point, that's when you can really start killing it and really start going about it and finding yourself as a man. So exposure therapy is the first thing. The second thing you have to realize is that you shouldn't lose your sense of self over any rejections that might happen, right? A big fear is the fear that if we get rejected, we're gonna lower our self-esteem, start seeing ourselves as being not good enough. Well, the first thing you need to understand is you need to stop putting these girls on such a high pedestal where their opinion of you or whatever they might say influence is more important than your own opinion of yourself. Your opinion of yourself should be the most important. How you see yourself through your eyes, right, should be the defining factor of your self-esteem. So if a girl is talking to you and she tells you to fuck off, she says, no, I'm not interested, you're ugly, you're smelly, that should not ruin your day for the next 6 months, right? That's just her evaluation of you. You know yourself better than she does. You've lived with yourself for how many years you've been alive. You know what you are at the core. So you don't allow these small things, these petty rejections to affect you. That's another way to get over the approach anxiety. Once you stop identifying your sense of you based on other people's opinions, right? And the way you can do this is by meditating and ultimately finding out that your sense of you doesn't exist anyway, but that's a topic for another video. Let's not get into that right now, right? So exposure therapy, disidentifying your sense of yourself from other people's opinions, and 3, just doing it, right? Back in the day, they used to have this thing called the 3-second rule, where if you see some girl that you like, you just give yourself 3 seconds, you just start walking in a general direction and see what happens, right? I think that was very powerful when me and my friends used to do that. Just getting yourself used to taking action. Stop being so stuck in your head, right? Your head is what's going to stop you from accomplishing great things in life. Thinking too much. It's kind of like if we were to bring stoicism into the mix right here. We are more often frightened by imagination than the reality. I think Epictetus or one of these homies said this, right? So do the actions and face the consequences afterwards. Don't project in your mind. Your mind doesn't know what's going to happen. Only through doing the actions and seeing the results of what happens are you going to find out the truth. And you're never going to find out the truth if you don't do that, right? So those are my 3 tips, guys, on how to get rid of approach anxiety. I hope they're of benefit to you. If you guys want more of these dating type, relationship type videos, I'm more than willing to make them because I got quite a repertoire of videos where I can discuss these ideas from my experience and from what I've looked at in the past. This channel here is not a pickup channel, right? It's not one of these bullshit pickup channels. This channel here is a psychological warfare channel. But relating with women is a very important part of actualization, right? Of personal development. It's a very important part, right? So I'm more than willing to discuss those ideas with you guys. Until next time, peace. So this is the end of the video. You must have really liked it if you got this far. Yeah, am I right? Yeah, am I right? Okay. If you liked it, please click subscribe and hit the post notifications because YouTube is doing this weird thing right now where if you subscribe, it doesn't even show you my videos. Very strange stuff. But yeah, click those post notifications. Well, good. Till next time.